All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we've got a story that, honestly, every single homeowner out there needs to hear. We're going to look at how one family's dream renovation completely spiraled into an $85,000 nightmare, and more importantly, what we can all learn from their story to protect ourselves.
And it all starts with a dream, right? I mean, this is a dream so many of us can relate to. As Cristobal Carliti said, this was our dream for the future. That's such a powerful way to put it, because this was never just about a home improvement project. It was about building security, building a better life. So let's meet the family at the heart of this, Cristobal and Gino Carletti from Mississauga. Now, their plan was actually pretty smart. Like a lot of people thinking about retirement, they wanted to convert their basement into a rental apartment. You know, the goal was to create that extra steady income stream, a solid investment in their own home to help secure their financial future.
But this is where that dream starts to become a total nightmare. And it all started when they hired a contractor they found, get this, on Instagram. Okay, so let's really dig into what happened here.
So, things kicked off back in the spring. They hired a company, Basilica Construction, who promised the whole thing would be done in just 2 months. Sounds great, right? So the Carlitis paid them an initial 35 grand. Then, a few months later, in September, came the second payment, another $50,000. And literally, as soon as that money was in the contractor's pocket, poof, the work just stopped. Dead in its tracks.
So let's just let that sink in. $85,000. That's the total amount the Carlettis paid out. A huge amount of money, just gone, for a project that was basically abandoned.
And this is the part that is just so brutal. You might think, okay, so they have an unfinished basement. No, it's so much worse. Listen to what Gino Carletti said. It was a completely finished basement. They took it apart and just destroyed it. So for their 85 grand, they weren't left with an incomplete project. They were left with a pile of rubble. They were actually worse off than when they started.
So what about the contractor, Basilica Construction? Well, when the family started asking questions, and later when reporters got involved, they just hit a brick wall. The company, the one with the slick ads on Instagram, is now listed as permanently closed. They just vanished, along with all that money. You'd think the story ends there, right? Bad contractor, gone. But nope, the nightmare wasn't over. In fact, a whole new, really complicated financial trap was just about to snap shut.
And this is where things get really tricky. You see, the Carlettis had financed the renovation. Now, their assumption, which makes total sense, was that they were paying back a loan for a finished basement. But the lender, they had a completely different view. From their perspective, their job was just to lend the money, not to manage the project. And here's the kicker. The loan was paid directly to the contractor. So the Carlettis were stuck with the debt, but they had absolutely no leverage, no control.
Now, the lender, a company called Finance It, they did put out a statement. They said Basilica is no longer a partner, and they're doing an internal investigation. They also said they're working with the customers. But you really have to read between the lines here. What this statement highlights is a massive risk for any homeowner. The finance company is there to finance. They are not there to make sure the work actually gets done right, or even gets done at all. So, you can just imagine where this leaves the family. It's just an impossible situation. Cristobal put it perfectly. I'm sad and hurt. I don't know how we are going to finish this now. I mean, think about it. Their basement is destroyed. They have no money left to fix it. And on top of all that, they're still on the hook for an $85,000 loan for work that, well, it just never happened.
Okay, this is a genuinely terrible story, but there are some incredibly important lessons packed in here. So, let's talk about what you can do to make sure this never, ever happens to you. Let's build a defense plan.
So here's your playbook, your core strategy for protecting yourself. Step 1, and this is huge, get personal recommendations. Ask friends, family, neighbors, anyone you trust who's had a good experience. Don't just trust a slick online ad. Step 2, a good reputable contractor will often start the work before asking for a huge chunk of money. It's a sign of good faith. And step 3, this might be the most important rule of all, tie your payments to milestones. You see work get done, you pay for that work. Never ever pay for the whole thing up front.
Okay, so beyond those big steps, let's zoom in on some specific red flags you absolutely need to watch out for. All right, first red flag, anyone pressuring you to pay a huge amount of money up front, just run. Second, finding a contractor on social media and not doing any other digging. It's a huge risk. And here's an interesting one from the experts. Even big, well-known companies can drag things out and overcharge you, so you can't let your guard down. It all comes back to this one key principle. You only pay for work that is actually done, period. And sticking to these rules is exactly how you avoid the situation the Carlettis are in right now. I mean, Gino's words just say it all. We are paying for something we did not receive. It's just a heartbreaking way to sum it all up, and it's a powerful, powerful reminder of why you have to have these safeguards in place.
So we'll leave you with this final thought. Your home, it's your sanctuary, right? It's probably your biggest investment. So the question is, who are you trusting with the keys? You really have to answer that question long before any hammer starts swinging. Because doing your homework, your due diligence, it isn't just about the money, it's about protecting your own peace of mind.